Hi, it's Crystal from Big Sexy Chat. How are y'all doing tonight? I wanted to talk to you all about strategies and tactics for surviving out in the wild as a fat person. And good Lord, we know some days not that great, not that easy, especially in this age of the GLP-1s and the Ozempics of the world. It's not very pleasant to be fat out in the wild. So I want to give you some of my favorite techniques. Now, first of all, I always have a comeback ready. Now I'm 58, so I've had opportunity to get these, sort of chiseled and always ready at the tip of my tongue because I've had a lot of fat hatred towards me too. But I'm just really ready. I'm always ready just in case someone says something rude to me. We all have to be kind of like we always have to be ready. Unfortunately, I like to stay ready. So my favorite comebacks, in some ways you can also get yourself prepared for when people are rude to you. So one of my favorites is, did you just call me fat? Really loudly. I started that one Christmas. I was at the post office nearby my house and I was actually shipping out a bunch of stuff from my store. I used to have a store called Curvy Girl Lingerie. And this guy kind of like walked quietly by my ear and said something in my ear. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember it was really rude. And I just turned around. I just spun around really quickly. A lot of people around. It was nighttime. It was like 9 o'clock at night at the post office. It was closed, but everybody was shipping stuff. And I just spun around on one leg and I said very loudly, "Did you just call me fat?" And everybody turned and looked at him. And this loser ran out of this post office like a cockroach. It was fantastic. And I've always kept that ready ever since then because that was so amazing. I was so happy I had that ready. I was just, bam! Did you just call me fat? And everybody turned and he scampered out of there and it was amazing. So I always have that one ready. And sometimes I like to do, so I'm sorry, excuse me, I couldn't hear you. Could you say that again? I like to ask them repeat what they just said to me. I use that. It's one of my strategies too when people tell me racist jokes and they think I'm going to be in on it because I'm white. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. One more time, explain that to me again. It's really fun to watch racists explain their racist jokes that are fucking stupid and not funny at all and really obnoxious and just gross. But anyway, it also works really well in the case of someone who says something to you about your body. "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. What'd you say? One more time." Just act all innocent. "I'm sorry, what'd you say? I missed that. What'd you say?" And act like you didn't really hear them and then just be like, yeah, okay. That's lovely. Especially when people say really weird things and rude things in front of their kids. I'm like, oh man, your poor child. Sometimes I like to say, "Oh, your poor kids. Wow, your kids. Great example for your children. Your mommy's lovely." Sometimes kids will say things that they don't really mean to be rude. They'll like, "Oh, you have a really fat tummy." It's true. And I go, yeah, isn't that cool? Isn't that neat how bodies can be so different? Tummies are great, aren't they? They're so soft and warm. And I can see the parents, are freaking out. But I'm like, the kids are right. They're just being honest, and kids are very truthful. And I don't mind letting them say something to me. I don't mind if they say something to me about my butt or my stomach or my body. I just say, isn't that really, that's kind of cool, right? Again, this is something I've honed for a lot of years. And so I've gotten these sort of retorts, my sassy retorts ready for, oh, by the way, my shirt says sassy. I have my sassy retorts available, ready, just top 10 hits, always ready to go. I've had some crazy things happen to me in the past. One time I was at one of my favorite restaurants. They've closed since this happened, but it's about 10 years ago. And there was this couple who they clearly looked like they worked out a lot. They were in all their workout gear, and all their stuff. And they were all like thin. And like, everything was all exposed. They're like, "Gains, bro." And I was like, yeah, okay. And I could tell that they're making fun of me. And what they didn't know is that I knew the owner of the restaurant. So when she came to check on me, we're talking all jovially and stuff. I had written her a little note. "Hey, these couple over here is making fun of me, and I think they're even taking pictures of me." So you know what she did? She went back to her register. She did some things, and she went over to the couple. She said, "Excuse me, I'm going to need you to leave." And they're like, "What?" "We're going to need you to leave." "Well, why?" "Well, if you want to know why, I will let you know outside if you want to know, but you need to leave. You're being rude to one of our guests, and you need to leave." And they were like, and they didn't know that it was me, that I'd written her a note. And then I also kind of left right after them. And then I was so obnoxious. But when they were getting to their car, I go, "Have fun at Pilates. Go have your fun at the gym. Go have fun working out." I was just being obnoxious. "Get your gains, bro." I think it's fabulous. People want to exercise. That's great. Sometimes I like it too. Sometimes I feel like it's punishment. And I think it's really cute that they were having like a workout date. And I think that's fabulous, except that they were being so rude to me. And so I just had to say something really rude to them back. Go have fun at Pilates, whatever that is. Anyway, I digress. That's just something I'm prepared for. And so when it does happen, I have something ready to say back to them, One time, I got an email from this guy. Turned out he was a realtor, and it said, "Die, you fat C word. See you next Tuesday." And it was my 50th birthday, and I woke up and I read that, and it was the headline. And this person had written an email to my personal email. So he went to a lot of trouble to look it up. And for whatever reason, this realtor in like Michigan decided he wanted to send me a note. He didn't know it was my birthday, but I sent him a note back and I said, "Hey, thanks so much for this really sweet and just beautiful note that you sent to me on my 50th birthday." And I said, "By the way, I want to let you know, I told a few of my friends about your greeting to me." And then my friends, my people, my community, I told them, "Yeah, he's a realtor in Michigan. Isn't that strange?" He didn't use his like a burner email. He sent from his email. So, some of my friends, my fat friends, went out and found a little bit of information about him, and they found his realty business on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, and they had a few kind things to say to this man. And then you'll never guess what happened. Later that day, he emailed me back to apologize. And I said, "Oh, how nice that you apologize. I have a feeling you wouldn't have apologized though if my friends hadn't found you." So he goes, "Yeah, can you have all your friends to stop what they're doing and let them know that I'm apologizing. I feel really bad. I was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde last night when I was drinking, and when I'm drinking, I'm just not me. I would never say anything like that in to your face." I go, "Yeah, I know you wouldn't, and you probably wouldn't even be writing me except that you got caught. And also, by the way, it's really easy to get a burner email from Gmail or Yahoo. You don't have to use your work email, you dumb shit." And so "I'm so sorry, please tell them." But by that time, a lot of people had found out about it, and they were all going for his Yelp page and his Google reviews and his Facebook page. And he caught a lot of flack that day. And that's what happens when you decide you're going to be rude and obnoxious via email. So that's just one strategy that I use when I've been emailed really rude shit, is I will let my people know what's going on, and they do the sleuthing, and they do the internet thing, and they find out who he is. And it wasn't that difficult because this was a realtor in Michigan, and all his information was right there. He was a 20th century realtor. It was wild. How can you imagine being that stupid? Especially when you can get a burner email. Anyway, so that's one way I deal with emails, is I sometimes ask my people to go and help me out, and that's always worked out really well that day, and has worked out for me before. One of the things I often do when I'm dealing with men, I'm not dating right now because I have a partner, but in the past when I have, and I like to do this sometimes on my Facebook pages and my Instagram pages when I get trolled by men who want to be rude to me, to tell me something like, "You're so fat," like, "Thanks, Captain Obvious," or they'll say like something really obnoxious, "Look at your fat butt," or whatever, and I just say, "Oh, did a fat girl turn you down?" I say this a lot to Bill Maher, if you guys know who he is. He really hates fat people. He's a celebrity. But on his pages and stuff, I like to say, "Bill, did a fat girl turn you down? Did a fat girl say no to you?" And I'll say something like, "I know fat girls aren't supposed to have standards, but we have standards too. And also, my fat peeps and I, we don't settle for bullshit. We don't settle for losers like you. And have a great day." And then I usually block them. But I like to troll with them a little bit if I'm in the mood, if I have the time. I don't always have the mood or the time, as you know. But sometimes when I do, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, who hurt your feelings? Did a fat girl hurt your feelings? I'm so sorry if your feelings got hurt by a fat girl." Another thing I like to say sometimes too, if I'm being really sassy, is, "You couldn't possibly afford me. Please, sir, please get to stepping. You couldn't possibly afford what I got going on here." And I don't know why I like that. I think it's snarky and sassy and makes me feel good. So that's kind of some of my tactics for restaurants and dealing with men if you're dating, and then dealing with rude emails. And another thing I like to do when I'm going to restaurants is, first of all, I love going out to dinner or lunch with other fat people. It really annoys the crap out of people at restaurants. They're so upset. How could 10 fat people be together eating a meal? And it's just so wonderful. Going out to dinner or lunch with your fat community feels so amazing. It's really fun when everybody starts staring. I just love to be just sending them little with my eyes, like little daggers, and sometimes little birds. And I like to just say something like, "Oh God, this is the best. These are the best nachos I've ever had. So extra cheesy with sour cream. They're just delicious. Oh my God, they're so decadent. I love all that cheese on my nachos." I get really loud, and it's really funny. It might not be true. All of it might not be true, but I just like to say it to piss them off. There's nothing more that will make people more mad than a person who's fat and not dieting and eating fatty foods that they think are bad for you and pissing them off because they're spending their whole life eating kale and on the diet. And then here's this fat, audacious bitch eating food and talking about it and saying, this is so good. It's really fun. It's really empowering. And it really helps you take your power back. I don't shrink for anybody. I don't stay small for anybody. I don't stay quiet for anybody. I don't care if you don't like it. I think it's fun to throw it back in their faces. And I don't ever get small for anybody else. I don't ever try to be polite for somebody else or try to be fitting in or trying to, do whatever they expect we're supposed to do. I don't do that anymore. I'm 58. I've had enough of that in my lifetime. So I don't do it anymore. If you're shopping and people are being rude to you, I've definitely had that happen to me. I'll tell you a funny story. One time I was walking into Victoria's Secret here in San Jose. I was going into the Victoria's Secret at Oak Ridge Mall, and I was actually looking for a purse for a friend, and I was going to buy it as a gift for them. And I walk in, and the girl, I was saying, "Hey, just wondering about your bras. What's how high? I don't think you guys have my size, but what size do you guys go up to?" She goes, "Yeah, actually, we don't have anything for larger people." I go, "Oh, okay. I know this might shock you, but I actually have thin friends. And what I'm looking for today is not size related. I'm looking for a purse, but also I do know skinny people. I know people that can shop here." And she was really embarrassed. And I was very proud of myself because I was not super rude. I was pretty polite about it, but I was like, what a stupid thing to say. First of all, you just lost out on a commission because I'm not buying anything here from you. But also, I know people of all sizes. I do have friends that are thin. I know some people think that fat people only date other fat people. Maybe they think we only have other friends that are fat, but I have friends of all sizes and all ages. And it's a really weird assumption if you work at a Victoria's Secret. I could have been buying perfume. I could be buying stockings. I mean, a million different things, but she wanted to make sure I knew they don't really have anything for larger women. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. But I'm not looking for something for me. I know there's nothing here for me. But I didn't say that. I was polite. So that's how I deal with life. That's how I deal with life out in the wild. Restaurants, I think it's funny. And it's funny to, just really enjoy your food and watch people get really upset when they're just barely, eating. They're like trying to find the healthiest little bites they can have, and they're not going to eat any cheese. And I'm like, I'm eating cheese. I like cheese. I'm going to eat chocolate. I like chocolate. And if you don't like it, don't look. You're not paying my bills. So please just, get a grip, lady or gentleman or couple in my case. So yeah, post office, restaurants, Victoria's Secrets, cafes, anywhere you can be where there's going to be people are going to be rude to you. I'm always ready with a comeback. And for me, that just helps me to get out, and it helps me thrive in the world. It helps me thrive out in the wild, even as a fat person. It shouldn't be that unusual to thrive and be fabulous and having a great life in a fat body, but apparently it really bothers some people. So I thought I would give you guys some of my tips for dealing with these people when they if they hassle you at all. I've been a big target, for quite a few years since I opened up my boutique. 2011, I got trolled by the fit mom, and it's just gotten better since then. And I've gotten really good at handling it. So anyway, I want to share some tips for all of you, just in case that might help you next time you get fat shamed, and just be ready for "Did you call me fat?" It's the best retort, and it makes them run for the hills and scurry out of there, and makes everybody else in the place turn and look at them. So that's my bonus tip for the day. All right, y'all, have a good one. Thank you. Check out my podcast, bigsexychat.com.